It's 9:47 a.m. You're standing in line at the coffee shop, waiting for your order. 3 seconds pass, maybe 4. And without even thinking about it, your hand moves to your pocket. You take the phone out and start scrolling. You didn't consciously make that decision. It just happened. Now, most people think it's pretty normal. I mean, that's just what you do when you're bored, right? Fuck no. It wasn't because you were bored, at least not yet. It was because something else happened in those 3 seconds that you didn't notice. And guess what? Nobody else does it too. Because that gap between standing there and reaching for your phone is worth over billions of dollars. And here's why. You might never feel truly bored again. Now look, I get it. Nobody wants to be bored. We've always tried to avoid it, and that's human nature. You'd pick up a book, start a hobby, call a friend, find something to do. But something has changed over these last 15 years, and it happened so gradually, most people didn't even notice. We stopped feeling boredom and started deleting it. Before your brain even registers the silence, and before you feel it, we deleted it. And that difference is what led to this multi-billion-dollar war on boredom. Let me show you what I mean. Part 1. The trap. Remember that coffee shop moment? Let's rewind it. You're standing there, waiting. 3 seconds pass, and in those 3 seconds, your brain starts to go quiet. There's no input, no stimulation, and right before that silence turns into boredom, right before your mind starts to wander, your hand moves. That's not random. That's a trigger, and it was engineered. You see, they didn't just build an app and hope you'd use it. They studied the exact moments your brain goes idle, the second before boredom kicks in, and then they designed every single feature to intercept that moment. That pull to refresh button, that's a slot machine lever. You pull down, wait, and get a dopamine hit. The endless feed is not a bug. That's the whole point. There's no end, it's always just one more scroll. Every app on your phone is designed to intercept that 3-second gap before your brain realizes it's idle. In fact, Instagram even tested notification delays to create what they called anticipation anxiety. The gap between you posting something and getting likes back isn't random. They engineered this exact delay that would keep you checking back over and over. This isn't about willpower, it's about design. But here's what most people don't realize. Part 2. The loss. Boredom wasn't the problem, it was the solution. Think about the last time you had a really good or breakthrough idea. Where were you? Probably in the shower, staring out a car window. Or maybe in the toilet sitting there and doing absolutely nothing. Einstein called it the combinatory play. He often used to let his mind wander without any direction. Even Newton was literally just sitting under a tree when he figured out gravity. Lin-Manuel Miranda came up with the entire concept for Hamilton while she was on a vacation. Now let me ask you something. What was the most common thing you noticed in these 3 scenarios? Their brain wasn't working in those moments. It was wandering, making connections between ideas they didn't even know they had stored away. They pulled it out from memories, observations, and random thoughts. But that only happens when there's space, when there's nothing demanding your attention. Boredom was that incubator, the place where your brain got to think without being told what to think about. And when you delete that space, when every idle second gets pre-filled with someone else's content, you don't just lose downtime, you lose the ability to have original thoughts. So if boredom was that valuable, why did they delete it? Part 3. The economy. Remember that 3-second gap I mentioned? It's not just valuable to you, it's worth billions to them. Every time you reach for your phone at that moment, before you even register the boredom, someone makes money. Not later, right then. Ad impressions, engagement metrics, your attention gets auctioned off in microseconds. This isn't small scale. The attention economy is worth over $300 billion a year, and that comes from deleting boredom. Every idle moment you have is now a transaction, a bidding war between apps competing to fill that gap before you even know it exists. And they've gotten really good at it. But here's what should actually scare you. We're only 15 years into this experiment. Imagine what will happen when it's 50. Part 4, the future. Because this isn't slowing down, it's accelerating. Right now, kids can't sit through a family dinner without a screen. Adults can't finish a book because their brain expects a dopamine hit every 30 seconds. An entire generation physically cannot be alone with their own thoughts. And we're barely getting started. Think about what happens when boredom becomes extinct. When sitting still becomes a luxury only the rich can afford. When silence is something you have to pay for. That might sound superficial to you, but this is where we're heading. But the irony is that the people who build these systems, they keep their kids with no screens. They take digital detoxes that they buy back their boredom, but the rest of us, we're the product. And the only way to fight is to do the thing that feels impossible. Sit with nothing, on purpose, and let yourself be bored, because that might be the only rebellion left. So next time you're standing in line, waiting for your coffee, and those 3 seconds start to pass, and you feel that pull, that urge to reach for your phone, remember that you have 2 choices. Sit in silence, let your brain wander, and let yourself be bored, or delete it again and again, until you forget what your own thoughts sound like. Because in 20 years, your kids will ask you what boredom felt like, and you'll realize that you can't remember it either.